Who is it that actually sends the destructive, violent 7 last plagues in the book of Revelation onto the earth? Most Christians assume it's God. I want to challenge this understanding. So where did they get the idea that it's actually God personally who is sending these plagues and affronting the lost? Well, it's understandable. Let's look at the text and look at the confusion on this issue. And then as we look at the greater context, we're going to see we've had it wrong. Terribly wrong. Revelation 7, 2 and 3 in the New King James Version. In these verses, we will see that it looks like on the surface level that God is the one who is pouring out and imposing this supernatural destruction onto the earth, onto the lost. Read on. Revelation 7, 2 and 3 in the New King James Version. Then I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. A good angel. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was granted to harm the earth and the sea, saying, do not harm the earth and the sea. Stop right there. Why do people assume that the 4 harming angels are from God? Clearly, the passage describes 2 groups. One angel, the sealing angel, is sent from God, and he says to the 4 harming angels, do not harm. People assume that, well, it says angels, therefore it must be God's angels. What other kinds are there? That's an assumption that we're forcing into the text. What we have from the text is 2 groups. One angel has the seal of God and says, do not harm. It prevents harm. And the other group is a group of 4 angels who want to harm. And the sealing angel says, do not harm, to the 4 angels who want to harm. We assume and read into that passage that the 4 harming angels must come from God. Now this poses a problem. Is God schizoid? That he sends an angel and he sends the 4 angels and they're in conflict with one another. See, it makes no sense. How does the book of Revelation use the word angel? Not just from God. Just remember from this passage that the sealing angel is a protecting angel. He says, do not harm. And he says, do not harm to the other 4 that want to harm. And what is it they want to harm? The earth and the sea. Please, this is a deal breaker. Listen very carefully to the passage I'm about to read to you in chapter 12, because it talks about the earth and the sea again. Revelation chapter 12, 7 to 12 in the New King James Version. Notice there are 2 groups of angels mentioned in this passage again, and the earth and the sea are mentioned once again. Revelation 12, 7 to 12 says this, and war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought. Stop right there. The word angel can apply to God, Michael and his angels, and the angel can apply to Satan's angels. Don't assume that just because you see the word angel in the book of Revelation that it comes from God. We've got 2 distinct groups of angels that are opposing one another and are in conflict with one another, and they are separate from each other. Don't make the fatal error, just because you see the word angel in the book of Revelation, that it comes from God. But that's what the Christian church has done back in chapter 7. So here, like chapter 7, we've got 2 groups of angels that are in conflict with one another, opposing one another. Let's keep reading. War broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought. But they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, the serpent of old called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Stop. Satanic angels are cast to the earth, and they're no longer allowed to have a place in heaven. Satan's angels are bound to the earth. Every time you read of an angel from God in the book of Revelation, they always come from heaven, from God. Wow. If we read in the book of Revelation of angels coming from heaven, we know it's God's. When we read of angels that are confined to the earth, we know it's the devil. You'll never read once in the book of Revelation that an angel of God is earthbound. They're not restricted from heaven. Only Satan's angels are restricted from heaven, and they're bound to the earth. Don't forget the words earth and sea. Here it comes. Verse 10. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. For the accuser of the brethren and his angels, who accused them before God day and night, he has been cast down. And so were his angels. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives to the death. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea. Wow. Why? Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea. For the devil has come down to you with his angels. For the devil has come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows he has a short time. Wow! Two opposing group of angels, God's and Satan's. Satan's are cast down to the earth, restricted to the earth, and then the message goes down from an angel in heaven down to the earth. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, because the devil has come down to you with his angels with great wrath. The angels, you listen carefully, that affect the earth and the sea are Satan's, not God's. This passage describes two groups of opposing angels, God's and Satan's. Satan's are on the earth, restricted, cannot go back up to heaven, and they bring woe to the earth and the sea. Let's go back to chapter 7 again. Are you ready? Then I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. This is a good angel. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was granted to harm the earth and the sea. Who harms the earth and the sea? When you put both passages together, it's clear. It's Satan's angels. In chapter 12, in verse 12, we read, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil and his angels have come down to you. In chapter 7, the good angel says to the four angels on the earth, do not harm the earth and the sea. Wow, we've had this wrong. There are two groups of angels in the book of Revelation, God's and Satan's. God's angels harm no more. They don't harm at all, sorry. They are harmless. They prevent harm. Satan's four angels, they want to harm the earth and the sea. Two groups of angels, God's and Satan's. God's prevent harm, withhold harm, and Satan's want to harm and they're both in conflict with one another. Whenever we read in the book of Revelation of angels that release harm onto the earth, it's Satan's side, not God's. God's angel with the seal of God says, do not harm the earth and the sea. When we know that, and we read about destructive angels in the book of Revelation, we now know they're not from God. They're from Satan. This is part 1. If I get enough interaction with you in the comments or views, I will continue on. It gets much better. God bless you.